The sky was clear that morning. Birds sang, children played in the streets, and people went about their normal lives. No one expected what was about to happen. Without warning, a shadow passed over the sun. It was not a cloud. The shadow grew bigger and darker. People stopped. They looked up. Their mouths opened in disbelief. Something enormous was moving across the sky, something that did not belong to Earth. At first, people thought it might be a large plane or a new satellite. But as the object drew closer, its shape became clear. It was a ship, massive beyond imagination, unlike anything humans had ever seen. Smooth, black, and glowing faintly, it hovered silently above the largest cities. Then more appeared. Hundreds of ships descended from the sky. Panic spread like wildfire. Cars crashed, people screamed, and governments scrambled to respond. In New York, the military fired missiles. They bounced off the alien ships as if they were made of air. In Tokyo, radar screens blinked wildly, showing incomprehensible movements. Every major city faced the same scene. Earth was under attack, but no one knew why. In a small village near the mountains, a young scientist named Dr. Elena Rao watched from her telescope. She was studying the skies for unusual phenomena, never imagining she would witness the first alien invasion. She noticed something strange. The ships were not just floating, they were scanning, calculating, observing. Their movements were precise, almost intelligent. Elena's heart pounded. "These are not just invaders," she whispered. "They are hunters." Meanwhile, across the ocean in Cape Town, Captain Isaac Mbeki, commander of a naval defense fleet, prepared his ships. His men were trained, disciplined, and ready for emergencies, but nothing could prepare them for this. The alien ships appeared near the coast, massive as mountains, blocking out the sun. The ocean's waves reflected their eerie glow. Isaac gave the order to fire. Torpedoes sped toward the ships, only to be absorbed into a shimmering energy shield. Every weapon failed. Fear gripped even the bravest men. As night fell, humans realized that their communication networks were breaking down. Satellites went offline, internet connections vanished, and emergency signals were jammed. The world was silent, except for the sound of sirens and distant explosions. People huddled with family, praying, hoping that the nightmare would end. But it did not. Elena decided she could not wait. She packed a small bag with her equipment and drove toward the first crash site reported by news alerts. Reports said one of the alien ships had fallen near a desert plateau. As she drove, she saw the destruction. Cars abandoned on highways, fires burning in small towns, and terrified people running for safety. Her mind raced. If no one studies these ships, she thought, humanity may lose its chance to fight back. When she reached the site took her breath away. The ship was enormous, bigger than any building she had ever seen. Its hull was smooth and black, yet shimmered with strange lights. The metal was unlike anything human science could explain. Elena felt both fear and excitement. She approached cautiously, noting symbols engraved on the surface, symbols that glowed faintly. The air was charged, almost humming. Suddenly, a door opened. A figure emerged, tall and thin, with glowing eyes and a metallic body. It did not speak, but it moved with a precision that was frightening. Elena froze. Her first thought was to run. Her second thought was that she had to understand this being. She took out a small device to scan the energy emitted by the alien. The device beeped wildly, showing energy readings far beyond human comprehension. Back in major cities, humans continued to resist. Fighter jets launched, missiles fired, and tanks rolled toward the ships. Every attack failed. Yet, human determination grew stronger. People were scared, but fear was turning into anger and resolve. Even in the face of such power, humans refused to give up. At the United Nations, world leaders met urgently. Countries that had fought each other for centuries now spoke as one voice. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers shared information openly. Humanity had no choice but to unite. The first meeting ended with a chilling realization. The aliens had come with a plan, and humans had almost no time to prepare. Elena returned to her lab, determined to decode the symbols she had seen. She worked day and night, believing that understanding the aliens' technology could give humans a fighting chance. Around the world, others did the same. Ordinary people became heroes, pilots learning new maneuvers, engineers improvising weapons, and children learning to help in communication networks. Humanity was waking up. As days passed, the aliens did not attack randomly. They targeted cities, communication hubs, and military bases. Their actions were calculated, showing a strategy humans could barely comprehend. Yet, amidst the destruction, humanity adapted. People learned to move faster, think smarter, and fight together. Small victories, rescuing trapped civilians, disrupting alien drones, or capturing minor technology, began to emerge. Elena looked at the night sky one evening. Thousands of alien ships still hovered above Earth, but humans had started to fight back. She knew the war was only beginning. The aliens were powerful, but humans had something they could never have: courage, creativity, and unity. She whispered to herself, "We may be outmatched, but we are not defeated. We will find a way. Humanity will survive." And for the first time in many nights, she smiled. The darkness in the sky was still frightening, but for the first time, hope glimmered. Earth had been hit by a force it could barely imagine. Yet, in the hearts of humans, a fire had started, a fire that could burn brighter than any alien weapon. The stage was set for a war that would change the world forever. Humanity's fight for survival had just begun. The first shock of the alien attack had passed, but Earth was far from safe. Cities lay in ruins, communication networks were fractured, and fear was everywhere. Yet, amid the chaos, humanity began to do something extraordinary. Nations that had fought each other for centuries suddenly found a common enemy. Old rivalries faded as leaders realized that if Earth was to survive, everyone had to work together. In Washington, New York, London, and Beijing, emergency meetings were held. World leaders communicated through secure channels, sharing intelligence, technology, and strategies. Scientists from every country joined forces. Engineers and pilots collaborated across borders. For the first time, humanity was united as one. Captain Isaac Mbeki, who had commanded the naval fleet during the first attack, now found himself coordinating with leaders from Europe, Asia, and the Americas. The task was immense. Billions of lives were at stake, and every decision could mean the difference between survival and extinction. Yet Isaac felt a strange surge of hope. "We are not alone in this fight," he said to his team. "The world is together, and together, we are strong." In small labs and underground bunkers, teams of scientists worked tirelessly. They studied every fragment of alien technology they could find. Dr. Elena Rao, now part of a global research coalition, had returned to the crash site. She carefully examined the symbols and materials from the alien ship. Slowly, patterns began to emerge. The symbols seemed to be a form of communication, perhaps a code that controlled energy shields and weapons. If humans could understand even a little, it could change the war. Meanwhile, ordinary people were rising to the challenge in ways no one expected. Engineers and factories modified vehicles into armored transports. Pilots tested new aerial maneuvers to avoid alien fire. Civilians learned to operate early warning systems and rescue missions. In cities under attack, local leaders organized evacuation and defense teams. Humanity was adapting faster than anyone thought possible. One night, Elena and her team made a breakthrough. Using a combination of human engineering and alien technology, they created a device capable of scanning and mapping alien energy fields. It was crude, unstable, and risky, but it worked. The first test revealed weak points in the alien shields. Excitement spread. Humanity had found a way to strike back. In Europe, military forces were also testing their new strategies. Drones were fitted with experimental EMP pulses, and fighter jets practiced coordinated attacks designed to overwhelm the alien ships. These efforts were dangerous, but pilots knew their actions could save millions. Every mission brought new knowledge, new tactics, and new hope. Across the oceans, resistance movements sprang up. Ordinary citizens became heroes in ways that history books would one day record. A schoolteacher in Brazil led children to safety while guiding them through tunnels. A factory worker in India helped repair critical communications equipment under fire. Everywhere, humans were discovering that courage did not come from weapons alone. It came from heart, determination, and unity. Despite the victories, the aliens were relentless. Their attacks were precise, targeting major cities, power plants, and supply routes. Yet, For the first time, they faced something unexpected. Humanity did not panic. Humans adapted. They learned. They fought back. Every failed attack taught new lessons. Every loss strengthened resolve. In a massive underground command center in Geneva, leaders gathered for a critical meeting. Using the new scanning device developed by Elena's team, they analyzed the positions of alien ships hovering over the Atlantic. The readings were clear. The aliens had weaknesses humans could exploit. It was time to take the fight to them. Captain Becky prepared his fleet. Pilots trained relentlessly. Engineers ensured every weapon was ready. Soldiers and civilians worked together to protect communication networks, supply lines, and hospitals. Humanity was ready to strike back, but cautiously. The first counterattack would be dangerous, and mistakes could be fatal. When the night of the first coordinated human attack arrived, tension was everywhere. Millions watched as fleets of ships, fighter planes, and drones moved into position. Pilots remembered the courage of their ancestors. Engineers prayed their calculations were correct, and leaders hoped that unity could overcome the aliens' superior technology. The attack began with small strikes, targeting alien supply ships and drones. Explosions lit the night sky, and for the first time, humans saw alien vessels falter. The aliens reacted swiftly, but humans adapted. Using tactics never tried before, combining speed, misdirection, and the weaknesses identified by Elena's team, humanity managed to hit key targets. Ships fell, shields flickered, and a small victory was achieved. On the ground, people celebrated quietly. It was not a total victory, but it was proof that humans could fight back. Humanity had learned something crucial. They were not powerless. They could learn, adapt, and overcome, even against a superior enemy. Courage was spreading like fire. Ordinary people were discovering that they could do extraordinary things. Elena watched the stars that night. The alien ships were still there, dark and ominous, but humanity had struck the first blow. "We are not weak," she whispered. "We are strong. We are united. We will fight." Her words echoed across the globe, carried by radio signals and digital networks. Humanity had awakened. By the end of the week, global news reported on human unity, small victories, and acts of heroism. Stories of courage and sacrifice inspired millions. Children learned that heroes could be anyone: a teacher, a soldier, a scientist, or a neighbor. Humanity was no longer just surviving, it was fighting back. The war was far from over, but for the first time, hope had a place in the hearts of every human. The aliens had expected humans to panic, to flee, to surrender. They had miscalculated. Humanity had something no alien technology could match: courage, creativity, and the will to survive together. And as the first light of a new day broke over cities scarred by battle, humanity prepared for the next phase of the fight. Humanity was not just reacting anymore. They were planning, learning, and striking. The war had begun, and Earth was no longer just a planet under threat. It was a united force ready to fight for survival, for freedom, and for the stars. The first victories gave humanity hope, but the war was far from over. Alien ships still dominated the skies, their numbers and technology overwhelming. Yet humans had learned something critical. The aliens, though powerful, had weaknesses, and humanity had something they could never match: creativity, courage, and the ability to adapt. Captain Isaac Mbeki stood on the bridge of his flagship. The fleet was ready. For the first time, humans were going on the offensive. They would strike deep into alien territory, into the skies above the Atlantic, where the largest alien command ships hovered. Pilots, engineers, and soldiers were tense, but determination shone in their eyes. Humanity had trained, prepared, and learned from every mistake. Now, they would show the aliens what it meant to fight against humans. Dr. Elena Rao worked feverishly in her lab. She had analyzed energy patterns from previous encounters, identifying vulnerabilities in alien shields and weapon systems. The aliens relied on energy cores that powered their ships and weapons. If these cores could be damaged or disrupted, the aliens would be significantly weakened. Elena shared her findings with military leaders, who quickly incorporated them into attack plans. Ordinary people, too, had become heroes. Civilians built improvised weapons, repaired vehicles, and kept communication lines open. Engineers modified drones to carry explosives, while pilots practiced daring maneuvers to avoid alien fire. Every human played a part, and everyone knew the risks. The war had turned into a fight not just for survival, but for pride, courage, and the future of humanity. The fleet launched at dawn. The sky was streaked with human ships moving in perfect formation. Drones buzzed ahead, scouting and probing alien positions. Fighter jets twisted and turned in agile patterns, ready to strike when the moment came. Humanity had learned that speed, unpredictability, and creativity were their greatest weapons against an enemy that expected humans to be slow, predictable, and fearful. The first contact was intense. Alien drones attacked with deadly precision, firing beams of energy that could obliterate entire buildings. But human ships moved quickly, dodging and weaving through the barrage. EMP pulses temporarily disabled the alien drones, giving humans precious seconds to strike. Explosions lit the sky, and for the first time, alien ships faltered. Captain Becky barked orders, his voice steady despite the chaos. Target the energy cores. Focus fire. Keep moving. Human ships surged forward, combining alien technology and human ingenuity. Fighters coordinated attacks with drones, using patterns that the aliens could not predict. For the first time, humans were controlling the battlefield. Meanwhile, on the ground, civilians watched the skies anxiously. Families held each other close, hoping their loved ones would survive. Schools and community centers were turned into command hubs, providing support for pilots, engineers, and soldiers. People who had once felt powerless now understood their role in the war. Every small act, repairing a communication line, transporting supplies, rescuing trapped civilians, was a strike against the alien invaders. In space, humans discovered something surprising. The aliens, though intelligent and technologically superior, lacked adaptability. When humans altered their tactics mid-battle, the aliens struggled to respond. Elena had predicted this. They think in patterns, she said to military leaders. Humans are unpredictable. That is our strength. Use it. And use it they did. Human pilots and strategists created confusion among the alien fleets, exploiting their rigidity to strike critical targets. Explosions rocked the alien command ships. Shields flickered. Weapons failed. For the first time, humans saw an enemy vessel drift out of formation, unable to recover. Cheers erupted across the human fleet. The tide was turning. Humanity's first offensive had worked. But victory was not without cost. Ships were lost, brave pilots sacrificed themselves, and cities below felt the repercussions of battles above. Humanity mourned its losses, but they knew these sacrifices were necessary. Each loss fueled their determination. Humanity had learned that courage was not the absence of fear. It was the decision to fight despite it. Back on Earth, leaders broadcast messages of hope. Humanity had struck a major blow against the invaders, showing the world that humans could not only survive, they could fight, adapt, and win. Ordinary citizens felt pride in their contributions, knowing that their efforts had played a part in this success. The war was far from over, but humanity now had a weapon the aliens could not predict: unity and ingenuity. Elena continued her research. She studied alien communications and energy systems, discovering that the aliens relied heavily on rigid protocols. Humans, on the other hand, could improvise, adapt, and innovate. Each discovery became a new weapon, a new strategy. The aliens' greatest strength, their technology, was also their greatest weakness. Humanity could use it against them. Captain Becky and his fleet returned to Earth orbit after weeks of fighting. The damage was significant, but morale was high. Pilots cheered, engineers celebrated, and soldiers knew they had made history. Humanity had not only survived the initial onslaught, they had proven that they could fight back. As night fell over Earth, Elena stood on a hill, gazing at the stars. Thousands of alien ships still hovered above, dark and foreboding. But humans had learned something important. They were not just victims. They were fighters. They were innovators. They were a species capable of surviving the impossible. Across the world, similar thoughts echoed. Humans were learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each battle. They were no longer reactive. They were proactive. They were no longer afraid. They were determined. And for the first time since the invasion began, humanity had hoped that they could not only survive, but one day, they might even win. The war had turned a corner. Humanity had struck back, learned from its mistakes, and discovered its true strength. The aliens were still a threat, but humans had something no alien weapon could destroy: courage, creativity, and the unbreakable will to survive. The tide was turning, and Earth would never be the same again. Humanity had fought back and won small victories, but the war was far from over. Alien ships still dominated the skies, and the threat remained enormous. Yet Earth had discovered something vital. Humans were not powerless. They could learn, adapt, and fight. But even as humans united, cracks began to appear, not from aliens, but from within. In the United Nations headquarters, tensions ran high. Some leaders wanted to use the war to gain personal power. They tried to control resources and secret technologies, hoping to emerge stronger after the war. These betrayals were subtle, hidden behind smiles and polite words. Yet Captain Isaac Mbeki and other trusted leaders noticed the signs. "We must stay focused," Isaac warned. "Any division now could destroy everything we have built." Meanwhile, Elena Rao was working on a critical project. She had discovered a new method to disrupt alien communication networks using a combination of human and alien technology. If successful, it could cripple the alien fleet for days, giving humanity a massive advantage. But the technology was unstable, and every test carried great risk. One mistake could destroy entire cities. In the city of Berlin, a team of engineers prepared drones equipped with experimental EMP pulses. They knew the mission was dangerous. If the drones were destroyed mid-flight, the EMP would detonate and harm nearby humans. Yet they volunteered anyway, understanding that sacrifice was part of survival. As the mission began, betrayal struck. One of the Allied countries, secretly hoping to gain the alien technology for themselves, withheld critical information about alien patrol routes. This caused the first wave of human attacks to be compromised. Drones were intercepted, ships were damaged, and several pilots were lost. Humanity had learned a harsh lesson. Even in unity, trust could be fragile. Captain Mbeki received the news of the failed mission. His face was stern, but his resolve did not waver. "We learn. We adapt. We continue. We cannot let fear or betrayal stop us," he said. His words inspired the remaining forces to regroup, repair, and prepare for the next strike. Elena worked tirelessly to stabilize the new EMP technology. She tested prototypes day and night, often sleeping only a few hours. She thought about the pilots, the soldiers, and the civilians risking their lives. She knew that her success could save thousands of lives. Or, if she failed, countless more could be lost. The weight of responsibility pressed heavily on her, but she did not falter. In the skies above the Pacific, human pilots prepared for a daring mission. They would fly directly into alien territory, targeting energy cores that powered the alien ships. Every pilot understood the danger. Every human knew that many would not return. And yet, courage burned in their hearts. They did not fight for glory. They fought for humanity itself. The mission began at dawn. The first wave of pilots flew low to avoid detection, weaving through clouds and dodging alien sensors. The alien fleet responded with deadly precision, firing beams of energy that could shred ships in seconds. Human fighters performed daring maneuvers, using every skill and trick they had learned. Some ships were lost immediately. Some pilots made split-second decisions that saved their teammates. On Earth, people watched the battle unfold on news broadcasts and public screens. Families held their breath, praying for the pilots' survival. Children learned the meaning of courage, seeing ordinary humans risk everything for a cause larger than themselves. It was not just a war, it was a lesson in heroism, sacrifice, and unity. Inside the alien fleet, confusion began to spread. Humans were striking deeper than ever before, disrupting energy cores and communication systems. The aliens were powerful, but they were not perfect. They could be outsmarted if humans were clever and brave enough. And humans were proving that every day. One pilot, Lieutenant Hannah Lee, made the ultimate sacrifice. Her ship was hit, losing power near an alien energy core. Instead of retreating, she piloted her damaged craft directly into the core, triggering an explosion that disabled several alien ships. Her last words were transmitted back to the fleet. "For Earth, for humanity, we survive." Her sacrifice inspired every human fighter and engineer. Courage was contagious, and bravery multiplied in the hearts of those left to fight. Back in Geneva, Elena watched the results of the mission unfold. The EMP devices had worked, communication networks were disrupted, and alien shields flickered. It was a victory, but one paid in blood. Humans had lost friends, heroes, and brave souls, but their courage had changed the course of battle. Sacrifice, she realized, was not weakness. It was humanity's greatest strength. Captain Becky addressed the fleet after the mission. Today, we faced betrayal, danger, and loss. But we also faced courage, unity, and determination. We have learned that no matter how powerful the enemy, we can fight back. We can survive. And we will continue to fight. For every life, for every city, and for our future. Even in the darkest moments, humanity had grown stronger. Betrayal had shown them the importance of trust, and sacrifice had shown them the power of courage. Every loss became a lesson. Every victory, no matter how small, became a beacon of hope. Humanity understood that survival was not just about technology or strategy. It was about heart, spirit, and the willingness to fight together against impossible odds. As night fell, cities rebuilt defenses, engineers repaired ships, and pilots trained for the next mission. The aliens had been challenged in ways they did not expect. Humanity had faced betrayal, endured loss, and risen stronger. The war was far from over, but humans had discovered something more powerful than any alien weapon: the indomitable spirit of survival, unity, and courage. Elena looked at the stars that night, her mind filled with plans and possibilities. Humanity had paid a heavy price, but they had learned that no matter how powerful the enemy, courage, sacrifice, and unity could overcome any challenge. And somewhere in the darkness of space, alien ships hovered, unaware that humanity had begun to truly strike back. For the first time, humans believed, not just in survival, but in victory. And the world waited for the battles yet to come, knowing that sacrifice and courage would guide every step forward. Humanity was learning, growing, and preparing to face the alien threat like never before. The day had come. Humanity was ready. After months of preparation, learning from past failures, and growing stronger with every mission, humans were about to face the alien command fleet, the heart of the enemy's power. For the first time, the fight would decide the future of Earth. Every soldier, pilot, and engineer knew the stakes. Failure meant extinction. Success meant survival and the chance to reclaim their world. Captain Isaac and Becky stood on the bridge of the flagship, staring at the massive alien command fleet hovering above the Atlantic. Their ships were immense, dark, and bristling with weapons. Energy shields glimmered like impossible walls of light. Thousands of alien vessels moved in tight formations, ready to strike. But humanity had learned. They had adapted. They had discovered weaknesses. And now, they would exploit them. Dr. Elena Rao monitored alien communication networks from the command center in Geneva. Her team had spent weeks decoding alien signals and tracking energy cores. They had developed a plan to disrupt the alien fleet from the inside, while human pilots attacked from the outside. It was risky. One miscalculation could destroy the entire fleet, but it was humanity's best chance. As the sun rose, the human fleet launched. Fighter jets streaked across the sky, drones buzzed ahead, and massive ships carried soldiers and advanced weapons toward alien lines. Every move was coordinated, every strike carefully timed. Humans had learned to think unpredictably, to act in ways the aliens could not anticipate. That unpredictability was their weapon. The first clash was violent. Alien ships fired beams of energy that could annihilate human fighters instantly. Explosions lit the sky, shaking the ocean below. Human ships maneuvered with precision, dodging fire and counterattacking with EMP pulses, missiles, and newly developed energy disruptors. Each strike aimed for the alien energy cores, the source of their power. On the ground, people watched anxiously. Families huddled around screens, praying for the pilots and soldiers above. Children learned bravery from heroes risking everything for survival. Ordinary citizens supported the effort, repairing ships, building supplies, and keeping communication lines open. The entire planet was part of the fight. Humanity was united like never before. The alien fleet retaliated with unprecedented force. Massive ships released swarms of drones, energy barriers intensified, and weapons fired in rapid sequences. Yet the humans pressed forward. Pilots remembered the lessons of previous battles: adapt quickly, strike decisively, and never give up. Fighters performed daring maneuvers, dodging attacks and targeting weak points in alien shields. Drones carried explosive payloads to critical energy cores. Captain Becky coordinated the offensive. Focus on the cores. Strike hard. Keep moving. Protect each other. His voice was calm, commanding, and filled with confidence. Humans had faced fear before, but now fear had turned into determination. Every pilot, every soldier, every engineer knew that humanity could not fail. Amid the chaos, heroism shone brightest. Lieutenant Hannah Lee's actions in previous missions inspired new pilots to take bold risks. One squad of pilots flew into the heart of the alien formation, dodging energy beams and striking at the command ship's central core. Another team used stealth drones to disable shields on secondary vessels. Every move was calculated, yet daring, demonstrating the human ability to improvise under pressure. Meanwhile, Elena's team in Geneva activated the signal disruptors. Alien communication networks began to fail. Ships became confused, formations broke, and response times slowed. The alien fleet, accustomed to control and order, faltered. Humanity's strategy was working. The aliens' greatest strength had become their weakness. Explosions rippled across the alien command fleet. Shields flickered and failed. Energy cores detonated in controlled strikes, disabling multiple ships at once. Humanity had turned the tide, not with overwhelming force, but with strategy, courage, and ingenuity. Every lost pilot, every sacrifice, had paved the way for this victory. Captain Becky and his fleet pressed the advantage. Human ships struck relentlessly, using speed, unpredictability, and precision. Alien ships that had once seemed invincible now wavered. Some tried to retreat, but human forces cut off escape routes, forcing them into vulnerable positions. Humanity was fighting as one entity, unstoppable in determination and spirit. On Earth, the people cheered as news of alien ships being destroyed spread. Cities erupted in celebration, yet there was also mourning. Many brave souls had been lost: pilots, engineers, soldiers, and civilians. Humanity had paid a high price, but the cost was necessary. Every sacrifice had ensured the survival of billions. Finally, the alien command ship, the heart of their fleet, was vulnerable. Captain Becky led a coordinated strike. Human ships, fighters, and drones attacked simultaneously from every direction. The ship's energy cores glowed and faltered. Shields collapsed under relentless pressure. And in a final, brilliant explosion, the alien command ship was destroyed. The ripple of destruction disabled the remaining fleet. Silence fell across the battlefield. Alien ships, once overwhelming, were now retreating, scattered, and weakened. Humanity had done the impossible. They had defeated the alien command fleet. Earth had survived. Humanity had survived. Exhausted pilots returned home. Engineers repaired damaged ships. Soldiers regrouped. Families embraced, crying tears of relief and joy. Humanity had learned that courage, unity, and ingenuity could overcome even the most powerful enemy. Ordinary humans had become heroes, and heroes had become legends. Elena looked at the stars that night, exhausted but proud. Humanity had won the battle, but she knew the war was not over. Alien forces would return, perhaps stronger, perhaps smarter. But humans had learned something critical. They could adapt, they could innovate, and they could fight back against any challenge. Humanity's spirit was unbreakable. Captain Becky addressed his crew and the world. Today, we have faced our greatest fear and turned it into triumph. We have proven that humanity is not powerless. We have proven that courage, unity, and determination can defeat any enemy. Today, Earth stands victorious, and humanity will never be forgotten. The war had changed Earth forever. Cities bore scars, but humans had learned to rebuild. Technology had advanced at an incredible pace, and the lessons of survival were etched into every heart and mind. Humanity was no longer just surviving. They were ready to rise, to explore, and to claim their place among the stars. The final battle had been won. Humanity had struck decisively, learned from every failure, and demonstrated the power of courage, unity, and human spirit. And as the stars twinkled above a battered but resilient Earth, humans prepared for the future, knowing that survival was just the beginning.